It's 6 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock. Okay, it is 6 o'clock, and I will call to order the Plainfield Charter Township Board meeting for May 23rd, 2022. We will begin our meeting with invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Susan Morrow.
Let's bow our heads together. Our Heavenly Father, we ask you to be with the people of Plainfield Township as we commemorate our Memorial Day in our community. We thank Bill Brinkman for all his dedication to planning the program. Guide our thoughts and our actions tonight, that as we conduct the business of the township, we let your light shine through us and give us strength and peace and guidance. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, everyone. Next item is to open the floor for public comments, if there's any. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand or just walk up, Mr. Spalding. Need to state your name and address for the record, and we will go from there.
Thank you. Art Spalding, 3301 Sunset Bluff. I know from my many meetings that I have attended here that you frequently receive comments and even quarrelsome comments from time to time under public comment. Tonight, I'd like to do something a little different and offer several thank yous. First of all, I'd like to thank Peter Elam for the work that he did on the private road ordinance. It took quite a while, and there was a certain standard that he wanted to achieve for the township, but I think the final result was also reasonably fair to existing property owners on private roads, which was my primary concern. And Peter, I think, did a great job, and I'm really wanted to make sure that everybody understood that there is somebody that appreciates it. Second, I have several comments about the cemetery. First of all, I'd like to thank the board for appropriating the funds to have the fence and gate constructed around the soil storage area. In terms of appearance in the cemetery, it is a big improvement. Secondly, I'd like to thank the buildings and grounds staff for getting rid of many of the dead trees that were in the cemetery. They were dangerous. In fact, as I believe there was even one that fell before they were able to get to it. And so I'm really appreciated. And I know the people who frequent the cemetery really appreciate the increased safety by getting rid of those dead trees. Lastly, with respect to the cemetery, I'd like to thank all the members of Berkeley Hills Church who came to the cemetery this spring and did an outstanding job of spring cleanup. I'm not sure what precipitated that on their behalf, but it certainly made for a welcome spring, again, for those who go to the cemetery. And my last thank you is to the Kent County Road Commission. They recently, shortly before I returned, asphalted the entire length of Childsdale Avenue. It's a huge improvement. They're going to chip and seal it in July probably, and that should not only enhance greatly the safety and appearance of Childsdale, but will preserve it for a number of years into the future. As I have discussed with Jerry Byrne at the Road Commission, the underlying problem is that Childsdale was built many decades ago and not built to today's standards, needs to be rebuilt but that's going to be a very expensive proposition. But in any event, it's a great improvement, and I really appreciate it, and thank you for the opportunity to let me speak tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you, Art. Anyone else? Okay, seeing no one, I will close the floor for public comments, and we will move on to the review of our consent agenda. Without any questions, concerns, comments from the board, I would seek a motion for the approval of our agenda, including the consent agenda and accounts payable.
I move to approve the agenda, including the consent agenda and accounts payable.
Thank you, Kathy. Support?
Support.
Thank you, Jack. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Merrill?
Yes.
Ms. Beatty?
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn?
Yes.
Mr. Brinkman?
Yes.
Ms. Postma, yes. Mr. Coleman?
Yes. So on we go with item 7 on our agenda. We have a couple presentations tonight, and first up are Kathy and Tyler from the Meyer LPGA group. And Cameron, do you want to speak a little?
Yeah, as they're getting set up here, whoops, get them to the right input here. Thank you for coming in again. Each year at this time, we hear an update from our folks from Meyer and the organizers for this tournament. And we're always excited to hear what new innovations they have for the space and for the event. They've done a lot over the years in terms of modifying how they're doing it. And now they have an additional challenge of Plainfield doing renovations themselves and having to work around that too. So we're always appreciative of your efforts to help keep us informed of what you're doing, but also work with us when there's issues like parking and traffic access. So we've always appreciated that over the years. So turn it over to you.
Thank you. The best news is we're back. And we're back as a full tournament this year with all of the aspects for family that we've had in the past. Some of the things that we couldn't do last year, and we're pretty excited. So thank you for the opportunity tonight. First thing I want to do is just run through with you the high-level schedule for the week. And so it starts with Monday, June 13th with a golf outing. It's a Pro-Am out at Plainfield Country Club at 7:30 a.m. And then qualifiers with LPGA potential exemptions start at 1 p.m. that day. As we roll into Tuesday, there'll be professional practice that day, all day. That evening, we will have a champions party at a new venue that we're calling J Brewers. We'll show you what that is in just a minute. And then out at Egypt Valley, we will have a 10:30 a.m., plus some other times that we're working on shotgun starts for our second Pro-Am of the week. Wednesday, June 15th, we will have our official Pro-Am that will kick off at 7 a.m. and run all day out at Plainfield Country Club. And then Thursday is the first round of LPGA tournament play. That will go on all day. In addition, our Grand Taste viewing areas open up on the course. I'll show you what those look like in a few minutes. Our family care area and our Meyer LPGA Discovery Land for children. And then additionally, all 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will be live on Golf Channel from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. each day. On Friday, we have second round of play, Grand Taste Concessions, Family Care Area, Discovery Land, all open again at 10 in the morning. And then J Brewers, I'm sorry, at 7 a.m. And then J Brewers will open at 10 a.m. And again, I'll show you that in just a minute. And from 3 to 6 p.m. live on Golf Channel. Saturday, third round of play. And then we will have our 5K that we have done, our run and walk, our family run and walk over at Rockford High School that morning, followed by a breakfast from Kellogg's right there at the high school. We will also have a junior clinic that day over at Boulder Creek starting at noon. And then again, Grand Taste Concessions, viewing areas, family care areas, Discovery Land, J Brewers, all open for the day during the tournament. That evening from about 6:30 till 8:30 p.m., we will have some live music by a local band called Great Scott out near Discovery Land in the Family Village for a little while with some beverages and food available for purchase from people attending the tournament. On Sunday, that's our final day and final round, and we will again have Grand Taste Concessions, Family Care Area, Jay Brewers, live on Golf Channel, and we will end play hopefully at 6 o'clock if all weather cooperates with us. And that's when we say, great, we've had another successful year. So we award our winner and we all go home. So this is just a view of the course, and you may not be able to see it very well. Taylor, maybe we can kind of point out, but what we've got is we've got 4 Grand Taste viewing areas. There are, there's one out at 16, between 16 and 13. Taylor's showing it to you. One between 10 and 9. Out by the clubhouse, another out by 18T, and another one really well positioned at the 18th green. And we'll show you what those look like. In addition, we have Jay Brewers, and this is what I want to show you now. Jay Brewers is going to take the place of what was Grand Taste. Same size, same location as you enter in from Rogue River. And let's flip to the layout here. As I said, same size, same setup and everything. What looks different and what's happening different is all on the inside. So what we're doing is we have built a premium hospitality area, and we are selling tickets to the public, and we will be featuring different restaurants, several different cuisines in there. We'll have everything from steak and lobster and salmon to barbecue and international food like Vietnamese and Mexican and Italian. So we'll have 4 very specific areas within Jay Brewers. 2 international that will feature several local minority restaurants, as well as a Meyer Meat and Seafood area that will have the steak, lobster, seafood, and then barbecue that'll feature 2 local barbecue restaurants. In addition, we'll have a 120-foot center beverage location, which will serve non-alcoholic and alcoholic beverages, and lots of comfortable seating. We'll have the viewing deck right along the fairway as well. So that's the look. Also off to, as you're looking out on the fairway off to the right, we will also have an open area deck that will be serving more food, tables, chairs, and kind of a family area out there as well. So that's what's new with regard to Jay Brewers, and that will take place Friday through Sunday at the tournament. This is the look at the 18 green layout this year, and what we've done is we've added more build out there. You've got the 72 by 52 right here is the PepsiCo Hospitality Suite. If you look to the right of that, that is the Plainfield member tent. And if you look across 18 green, you have 2 things. You have a public Grand Taste viewing area that will have food, not just concessions, but food from local restaurants here. And then the 66 by 33 tent is a Meyer team member tent that will host our team members. So that's the look at the 18 green layout this year. These are just some of the views. That's 18T. That's 10T up near the clubhouse between 9 and 10. That's 16 fairway down by the river. And then what we've got is Discoveryland, which will sit between 18 and 4. These are our tournament numbers, not necessarily Plainfield numbers, but that is where the old Grand Taste South was. But we're rebuilding Discoveryland there. We will have sampling tents with food. Citibank is our MasterCard holder is going to have a hospitality suite out there. We'll have games and activity bags for kids, as well as Purple Cow ice cream, fresh fruit, and a family care area where families can change their babies, breastfeed their babies, but a great family and children area for children.
All right, so on to some of the safety and parking information that we work with Bill and the team on. We're planning to close down 7 Mile Road near the quarry again this year. We've closed that down in previous years to keep spectators from parking there and walking across Northland Drive. We're also working with the Sheriff's Department again this year. Something we added last year was we printed off no parking signs for anybody in the neighborhood across from Plainfield who wanted to keep people from parking in their driveways or on their shoulders or in their front yards. So we're planning to do that again, and we're working with the team at the Kent County Sheriff's Department to do that. We saw great success with that last year, and I don't think we got too many or any complaints last year. So we are, again, providing parking free of charge at Rockford High School, free shuttle. That went over extremely well last year, and we're planning to offer that again this year. We will have some other lots connected to Plainfield, as well as Northview High School and Bethel Church, previously Tribes Church, as secondary lots for credential holders, mostly staff and support staff. We're also working on sending out the letter to the residents of the community about what's going on with tournament week and some of these items. Keep them aware.
That's the Meyer LPGA Classic for 2022.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? Jack?
First of all, I appreciate the work that you've done on parking. I live on Plainfield Acres right across the street, and you've done a great job with that. Second of all, I appreciate the fact that you have free entrance for veterans. I think that's a great thing. I wanted to make that public for anyone who's involved in that. I bought my entrance fees already. I'm a little confused. Prior years, I know last year you did not have the sampling, and I'm going to call it Grand Taste, but evidently your name has changed. 3 years ago, you had the Grand Taste, which I participated in. It was a great thing. And then when COVID hit, that you didn't have the tournament at all. And then last year, you didn't have what I call the Great Takes, but you just had concession stands. That's correct?
Yeah.
So now you have the J. Brewer, but you also have the Grand Taste. But the Grand Taste is redefined now. Is that correct?
Correct. Grand Taste viewing areas, what we did is we took local restaurants and we put their menu items in concessions. We've got a very family-friendly concessions menu that has pretty broad selection of food, and we built the big viewing areas with tables and chairs. That allows a family to get in for only $10 and experience menu items and things like that anywhere from $1 to $4, so it's very inexpensive for the general public to go. We found that they really liked that because they had great places to go and sit and could still experience food and not at a cost that they had before. J. Brewers this year will feature food and beverage, larger sizes, lunch sizes, things like that with a wide variety. It's an all-day thing. You buy a ticket, you're in there all day. So.
Okay, and I did buy the extra ticket, but I got confused because I thought I was buying the same ticket that I had previous years with the Grand Taste going to all these areas. But evidently I brought the J. Brewer, which is that area you described. I imagine you're not pre-selling the other tickets, I gather.
No,
Okay.
those are general admission tickets, yeah. So as many as want them can come. We don't have limited numbers on that one, so that's
Yeah,
good.
I know with the Grand Taste in previous years, you sold out, and
Yeah.
that was a good thing for you, but I think I suffered one time.
We're 50% of the way on J. Brewers too, so.
Great. Okay, appreciate your openness in coming to us, too. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Jack. Oh, hang on. Anybody else? No? Okay, I will say that I'll do a little pitch for you here, try to get you some volunteers. I volunteer at this. This is a blast. You don't have to just be a golfer. There's lots of different things they need help with. So this is in our community. It'd be great to see our community get more involved and take some of them volunteer spots. It's just a fun day, fun week. I shouldn't say day. But then Sunday, I've trained my children over the last few years that if they want to see Dad on Father's Day, that's where they need to be because I'm busy. And then the last couple of years, it's also been my birthday, so that kind of forces their hand. They have to come one way or the other, so kind of sorry to be them, but, all right, thank you very much.
So Tom doesn't know it, but he'll have a birthday cake at the entrance.
Oh, boy. Tom's not big about that kind of stuff, so, all right, thank you, guys. Okay, next presentation, Cameron, would be Randy from The Right Place. I'll let Cameron speak.
All right, thank you, Tom. So as Randy's walking up, it's been a little bit since we've had a face-to-face presentation from The Right Place, and we have a new face now, too. So Birgit retired after many, many years of success at The Right Place, and so we have a new leader at the helm of this organization that, for anyone that's unfamiliar with The Right Place, this is our partner organization for economic development. We're a supporting member of The Right Place, as are most communities in West Michigan, and we're a proud partner that works collaboratively with this group. They've helped bring a number of businesses to the area over the years, some of them more specifically in Plainfield, but as we tend to be more of a residential community, we still benefit when businesses are brought to other areas of the greater Grand Rapids area as well. So Randy's got an introductory presentation for us tonight, and I'm sure he'll be open to lots of questions.
Yeah, thanks, Cameron. Thanks, everybody, for the opportunity to be on your agenda today. As Cameron said, I'm the relatively new CEO of The Right Place. I joined in March of 2021 in the midst of a pandemic, so wasn't able to get out and about as quickly face-to-face, although one of the earliest meetings I did face-to-face, I actually met Cam and Jen at a township supervisors sort of collection across Kent County, so I met them early on. And our team certainly has been working very closely with your team as well. So thanks for the opportunity. Thought I would share just a handful of slides about what we've been doing over the last year, some changes that we've made, some adjustments, I should say, that we've made to The Right Place, and then some examples of how we've been working with you here in Plainfield Charter Township. And then certainly I think these things are always best. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. The slides can get kind of boring after a while, I know. Just as Cameron said, we've been in economic development here in West Michigan for over 35 years as an organization, about 32 of them under the leadership of my predecessor, Birgit Close, about a year and a half prior and about a year and a half after. And so you've sandwiched on either side. But it's a lot of, frankly, it's a lot of fun and excitement to be able to follow in her footsteps and take the baton and keep pushing forward. And that's exactly what we're doing. Our mission is the same. Our drive is the same. We want to see West Michigan be the most dynamic, vibrant economy possible that provides jobs for our citizens today and the future generations to come, so that our kids can be here and our grandkids can be here and enjoy a great quality of life and a great career as well. And that's what gets us up every day. You see here, we plan in 3-year increments, so dark green, sort of lighter shade in a final update as of this year. We have high-level goals of about 3,400 jobs over that 3-year window of our strategy, about just shy of $200 million of expected investment, private investment. I'm sorry, $500 million in private investment. The payroll is $200 million. And so we had a tough start, frankly, in 2020. In the midst of a pandemic, we were behind plan. 2021, last year, we were able to pick up the pace. We had a lot of pent-up demand for companies making decisions, so we more than made up the pace and we're ahead of plan. This year, candidly, is a touch slower out of the gate than we would like. We've got a lot of projects in the pipeline. With interest rates climbing, inflation, supply chain, there's a lot of headwinds right now that we're trying to muscle through. A lot of companies that are seeking to expand, that want to expand, that haven't yet quite pulled the trigger for any number of reasons. So we still believe we're going to be able to hit these numbers by year end, but it's going to be maybe not as smooth sailing as we had thought going into the year. It's slowed down just a touch. We've reframed our strategy around 3 broad pillars of people, place, and prosperity. The people section, it's the talent that we try to develop and attract to this market that's fundamental to what we do. If we're going to have a thriving, dynamic business community, we have to have the ability to develop and attract the talent that can meet those jobs today and going forward. So we have a big, aggressive push on talent, our people strategy, if you will. We've been able to secure some dollars out of Lansing with some of these federal monies that are flowing through in what's called the Talent Pathways Grant Program. Right now, frankly, our diverse populations suffer from about double the unemployment rate and roughly half the income levels. And so helping employers understand how they can broaden their outreach, broaden their sort of connection to our community across every category to help put people into jobs that maybe haven't been invited before. So we've got a Pathways program that's helping our companies all across the region look at their hiring practices and really help attract more people to their business. You see it everywhere. There's help wanted signs virtually everywhere. I joke it's help wanted signs, it's sports gambling, and it's cannabis are the only billboards you see. We've got to find a way to help employers find the talent more than just putting a billboard up. Hello West Michigan is our partner organization that helps us on the talent attraction side. We are marketing each and every day as an organization to help bring business to the market. We're also helping to attract people to the market that want to help build and grow here. And finally, our employer engagement, as I mentioned, with the Pathways program, last year we met with 454 companies across the region. This year we're on pace to hit 600, which is our goal, and we'll hit that. And so as we get out and meet with these companies, we can share with them sort of the new best practices for finding and retaining talent in the marketplace. And we've got the people on our team that can do that. Place is really a new initiative, placemaking, if you will. If we're gonna be a great place for talent, we have to be a magnetic collection of communities across West Michigan. We have to be magnetic to help retain people. We need to be magnetic in a way that draws people. And I know our team, and we'll touch on this a little bit later, but has been working with yours on how do we continue to enhance Plainfield and make it a great community of distinction that's unique and uniquely Plainfield, and helping communities so that when somebody is looking to stay here, maybe a young college graduate or somebody that's looking to move here, we give them every opportunity, maybe an urban opportunity in a condo, an apartment downtown, a suburban opportunity out here, a rural opportunity even further north. We want to be able to say to that candidate that wants to live here, they have any option that they want is right here for them in West Michigan. And finally, prosperity, and this is our bread and butter. This is the job growth, this is the capital investment, this is the tax-based growth that we're known for. We're aggressively, still, even in a tough labor market like we are today, we have to continue to find ways to bring new businesses to this market, help our existing companies grow. There's still a lot of challenges out there in the economy. You hear a lot of talk right now about this pending recession that I mentioned earlier. You've got an automotive industry that's transforming right in front of our eyes, and we know that's going to have some creative disruption elements to it where jobs will be lost. We have to do the work now to make sure we're bringing companies in that can offset that loss in the years to come. So we work very hard on that front. First, meeting with the 600 companies that I mentioned earlier that are core to our community, that are our base employers. We're reaching out across the country and around the world. Birgit, over the years, built a great pipeline into Europe. We're keeping that pipeline open. We're also opening up a new pipeline into Silicon Valley where I've got more of my connections throughout my career, helping to bring both European manufacturing companies that can augment what we do here and technology companies out of Silicon Valley that can bring some new interesting jobs that might appeal more to younger people going forward. And industry councils is something we don't touch on very often, but there's strength in numbers. In West Michigan, we have a great collaborative environment, and we bring our business community together consistently to tackle big problems, both at our board, but also we have a manufacturing council, we have a supply chain council, which is the hottest one we have right now, given everything going on. We have a technology council, and finally we have a medical device council. And we've been connecting those groups more often so that the tech community is talking with our manufacturing company, the med device is connected with our supply chain and how we serve global needs. And it's really those collisions where we see interesting innovations taking place. So people, place, and prosperity, it's the same direction for the right place. We're framing it differently because we think that's the formula for sustained success. The best markets in the country, the fastest growing markets in the country have that kind of model, and that's what we're trying to emulate at the right place. Just to touch on some of the things we've collaborated on with Plainfield Charter Township, your work on Reimagine Plainfield has certainly captured our attention. That's an incredible corridor. I personally drive it quite often. Drove it tonight. It was incredibly packed with people and cars. And it's interesting to look at it through the lens of sort of reimagining as you're proposing here. Recently, our team traveled around with Cameron and Jen. We had 4, 5, 6 of our folks, I guess, in a van for a better part of a day. Just looking at it through the lens of economic development and what opportunities we see along that corridor that can enhance it even further. It clearly provides a great commercial use for citizens of Plainfield and beyond, but there's also clearly opportunity for it to get to another level. And so our team spent a good deal of time working on and brainstorming with them on that opportunity. We also, with our place, our community development team, are very aggressively looking through all of the federal and state resources that are out there in ways I've never seen. I've been doing this 25 years. We've never seen money flowing through like we are right now. And so part of our work is making sure here in West Michigan we capture our fair share and then some. So we're sort of scouting for communities as we understand and learn about Reimagine Plainfield and the opportunities that represents. Our team, your team, we're all now looking out for opportunities together, and I think that's going to improve our odds of success. Last thing, we're working on the first ever developer day on the right place, where we want to bring in the private development community and showcase opportunities across the region. How can we bring a different sort of lens to the development community, look at different opportunities in ways maybe they haven't in the past? And we do want to feature Plainfield Township. Excuse me, I have allergies and that's killing me today. But bring those developers here, take them on the tour that we did the other day and kind of showcase what potential is out there and see if we can't spark some interest among the development community. And that's something we'll be doing this fall. Quick regional snapshot. In March, our team, we did 138 business visits. Every person on our team, from top to bottom, does a business retention, at least one that month, because I think everybody needs to understand what the clients are feeling and have greater empathy for them. And some of the data we captured there. But reminder, March is much different than May. Much has changed in the last 60 days, but at that point in time, nearly 3/4 were increasing sales. Over half were looking to expand, roughly half were facing recruitment challenges, and 40% were investing in training. Sorry, like my boy going through puberty up here today. So generally, companies moving in the right direction where we need them to go. As we look forward, these are the core things. Above and beyond our core objectives, these are the 5 sort of strategic moves we're looking to do. We're investing in our talent and diversity efforts. How can we help companies reach deeper into our community? Site readiness, and this ties in a little bit with Plainfield Township, but how do we find opportunities? Right now, the industrial vacancy across the region is 2%. That's basically zero, we can agree. Thank you so much. And so if we don't prepare, thank you, Jen. If we don't prepare sites for business park development today, we're not going to be able to capture the kind of job growth, the quality job growth tomorrow. And so we have to take some effort there, and we've been active in that space. I mentioned earlier the need to connect with Silicon Valley and help grow the tech sector here in West Michigan. Our tech economy is about 6.7%. Our peers are closer to 10% as a region, and the aspirational markets are at 15%. It's the fastest growing sector by far. It's the sector where young people want to work. We've got to find a way to grow into that space. And so we've got a strategy we're sharing with the board here in June, and we expect to share that broadly across the community through the summer. We've had 200 people across the community help weigh in on that strategy, and we're really excited to help deploy that here. The fourth one, has anybody heard of Industry 4.0? It's a terrible name, I'll admit it. It's an industry movement within the manufacturing sector that basically bridges technology and manufacturing. How do you have machines talking to each other? How do you have one company's machines talking to another company's machines so that the supply chain hiccups that we see today can be anticipated and avoided with some AI kind of capabilities in robotics and automation? We've got to find a way to make sure our manufacturing sector, which is 20% of the economy, remains on the cutting edge. And so we're pushing and pulling into that direction with this Industry 4.0, which is a global movement towards automation and sort of machine learning. And the last piece is what we talked about with Plainfield Township is placemaking. And how do we, again, make those communities of distinction? We want to leverage some grant opportunities that we see coming through Lansing. We want to deploy into DC as well and help bring some dollars to help make reimagine Plainfield kind of things come to life, not only here, but throughout the region. So with that, and thank you for suffering through my voice cracks and my going through puberty at the age of 50, I'm happy to take any questions.
Anybody have, Jack?
We're biased here in Plainfield Township. We believe we have some very unique opportunities for people and businesses to move in. And my question for you is, how can we help you further publicize that?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think, well, one, I would agree. I mean, I live just down the street, just outside of Plainfield Township. I've been on this trail. I've had ice cream at the place right here along the trail, which is kind of a cute, fun little feature. You know, a couple of things when people say quality of life, because right now, frankly, economic development, it's as much about people as it is businesses. People are deciding where they're going to live and businesses are going to follow. That's the lesson that I learned clearly when I was in Denver prior to coming to Grand Rapids. I'm a Michigan kid, born and raised here, first 40 years of my life here. Went out west with my family, come back for this job and for my extended family. the Denver model was an eye-opener for me. Everybody has sort of this positive, very, very favorable vision and view of Denver. And it's a great city. It's a great city. It's a dynamic city. It's a vibrant city. But as I was there and I did some research, you go back 25 years and it wasn't. It very much was not a vibrant, dynamic city by any stretch of the imagination. Go back about 30 years. Population was stagnant. They've been a boom and bust market for 100 years, really since their birth. They were a mining town and that went bust. They were a ag town and that kind of came and went. They were an oil and gas company or town and that kind of came and went. They never really found their stride until people started voting with their feet and businesses followed. And it really took place in the Great Recession. Young people graduated from college. They went there without jobs. And after the Great Recession kind of settled in, tech companies went there and found them and created this flywheel effect that has produced, created the Denver that everybody imagines today. I think here, and so what drove that is people move there for quality of life. And when they think about quality of life, first it's schools, second is outdoor recreation. So the fact that you have the White Pine Trail featured, the fact that it kind of crisscrosses through here, the rivers crisscross through here, outdoor recreation is the second. When people are asked what does quality of life mean to them, it's schools if you have kids, and then it's outdoor recreation. So for us as a community, or you as a community here in Plainfield, to really embrace that, promote that, enhance that, I think that sends a really strong message, particularly to young people that's high on their list. So I would promote that. Our job at the right place is to promote the business aspects of it, but it's a heck of a lot easier if we've invited people through Beer City USA, as we might laugh at that, but it's real and it's stuck and it's nationwide recognition. The outdoor recreation, I think we have opportunities there from the lakes to the rivers and everything in between. We have a real opportunity that we don't always sell and appreciate here as a four-season asset.
Anyone else? Okay,
Well, thank you, and
Thank
thank
you,
you very
Randy.
much for the partnership with us. I do appreciate it, and especially thanks to Jen for the water. That saved me. Thank you. Yes?
I do have an allergy.
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Next item on our agenda is to have a public hearing to consider amendments to the Mercy Health PUD ordinance. Pete, are you going to speak to this?
I will.
Turn your microphone on.
It just took a little, it
Hold
was a
on.
delay.
Hold on, there we go.
It was a little bit of a delay. Well, essentially what you have before you is a refresher of the old Advantage Health PUD, which is now the Mercy Health PUD. In the last few years, or last year, the northeasterly corner there is, we've had development pressure on it. You may remember a couple months ago that the applicant came in to do a site condominium development, as we were reviewing that, we noticed that the language in the existing ordinance needed a refresh, and so this is the result of that action. Essentially what we did with that is we updated a lot of the technical language in there. We did input design standards in there, somewhat based on, I'd say loosely based on what we did for Reimagine Plainfield in the MXU zone district, but to give us a little bit more control over windows and the materials of the makeup on the fronts of the buildings. So the next thing on that would be, essentially the language also matches what we currently have on the development plan. As you will note, from the original plan to this one, there's a considerable amount of difference. And last, I just want to note, the applicant is in the audience, but we do have two site plans coming before the Planning Commission tomorrow. They could develop this project without approval of this PUD amendment tonight, but it does make their application a little bit easier. Essentially, they're going to go on units 1 and 5 here, and if the Planning Commission approves it tomorrow, it'll still be subject to approval, your approval here. So restate that, is we still have a waiting period, even if you do approve this, that it won't go into effect till roughly about 30 days after. Last, and I'll hand this off to Jack if he has any comment, PC did recommend approval to the board.
Yeah, I know you've been sitting with this for a long while, Peter, and you refined it and refined it and refined it, and I think it's in good shape.
you plan on doing a presentation to us before I open the floor for public comment?
Commissioners, my name is Steve Whitty from Niederveld, here tonight representing actually Boulder North LLC. They're the owner of 6120 Northland Drive. I think Pete really covered it well, so I won't really say a whole lot, other than if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those. As Pete indicated, we are actually on the Planning Commission agenda tomorrow night for both the westernmost lot and the easternmost lot on 6120. And then we actually, the seller, the owner of 6120 Northland Drive, they actually have this building here under contract too, so I'm gonna be submitting that next month. So it is moving forward, but with that being said, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Okay, so I would open the floor for public comment if there is any. Don't see any, so I'll close the floor for public comment, and we'll move on to our board discussion. Jack, do you have anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay, Susan?
Is the facade of each of these buildings going to be compatible with the building next door? Are they 5 separate?
There are 5 separate lots, but they will have to all meet the standards that the township has. So like one of the comments, for instance, tomorrow night on the westernmost lot is a concern on the building facade facing Northland Drive. So that'll all be discussed and worked out with both the planning commission and township staff.
We're not going to have red brick, white brick, shaker.
That's not what these 2 businesses are proposing, and I'm guessing the other people won't either. But like I said, at the time of site plan submittal, the planning commission would review that, and then they would be able to say, you know, hey, this is way out of whack, or hey, it looks good.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Kathleen?
I'm all set.
Okay, Kathy?
I was just intrigued by the vet building, so could you just kind of explain that to us?
Explain the appearance of it, or
Well, it said that it was a vet, so it was a veterinarian?
Veterinary clinic, yep.
Going in with
Yep,
among
there's
the
a plan. It's actually been tweaked a little bit since since what's on the screen here, but it's very close to it. So that use will be the westernmost one of the 5 lots. Access will be off of the existing access drive that goes between Mercy Health and Boulder Creek Assisted Living. 49 parking spaces. The concern that the township staff had is they want to make sure that the north wall of the building, so the building fronting, facing Northland Drive, appears as a front. So in other words, the entrance to the building, as it's shown right now, the main entrance is actually here, which is great for visibility coming north on Northland Drive, but we need to be cognizant that this is the front of the building. So we'll work through, actually the architect will work with staff to make sure that that happens.
It was just intriguing to me that we're bringing in the veterinarians among the medical, so we can drop off our dog and then go to our doctor appointment too, so.
Yeah, and I don't think I think I said it last time I was in front of you, but I didn't say it tonight. The easternmost building is a dermatology office, and then the building right next to there that it's under contract is a dental office. And then the 2 in between, I don't know what those will be.
A mile, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Kathy. Bill, do you have anything?
I'm just thinking we'll have a place for the dogs too to get their health taken care of and toenails clipped. Dermatology from down, I think there's West Michigan Dermatology down further on Northland Drive, about 7150 or 750 Northland. Is that the one that's going to be moving?
I honestly am not sure. I'm not sure if they're moving or if they're expanding. I should know, but I don't.
They're probably expanding because that's good business now.
Very possible, but I don't know that for sure. I know they have several locations, but I don't know if they're closing one to move here, or if this is just an addition.
Well, from my own experience, 'cause I go to that Mercy Health quite frequently, and it's very well done in there, and it's very, very well organized. And I assume that we're going to keep this one the same way, I would hope, well organized. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, Steve, thank you. I think this is great. It's nice to see that parcel developing. They've done a great job so far. I don't anticipate anything different. Jack, do you have something further?
One more comment. The facades are are in the front and the parking is in the back, which is in coordination with the whole plans that Reimagine Plainfield started. So it's pretty much the same way of looking at things as we're going to do eventually with Plainfield.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, I'd seek a motion.
I move to approve the Mercy Health PUD ordinance to amend for 6120 Northland Drive, 6050 Northland Drive, and 6070 Northland Drive.
Thank you, Susan. Support?
Support.
Thank you, Kathy. Roll call vote, please, Kathleen.
Mr. Hagedorn.
Yes.
Mr. Brinkman.
Yes.
Ms. Beatty.
Yes.
Mrs. Merrill.
Yes.
Ms. Postma, yes. Mr. Coleman.
Yes. Item 9 on our agenda for new business is to consider an ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance amendments. That's a mouthful. Is that you again, Mr. Pete?
It is me, although I will say, give credit to Elizabeth, she did most of the hard lifting on this one. But essentially, this is another house cleaning item, but you may recall when we were doing the entire zoning ordinance update a few years ago, probably within the last year, we promised that we do regular updates, and this is an attempt to keep up with that promise to do so. This is a number of house cleaning items from things we found in working through some of the new sections that need to be done. One that I'd forgotten to do back in the day was clean up stables. We had some confusing language in there, not that that's a big deal for the township, but we do have one. Some of the other stuff that we cleaned up was the light industrial chapter. We've consistently had problems with the lot sizes we have versus the setbacks or established in that light industrial district. So we worked through that. We went through a number of lots within the township and tried to come up with something that was more consistent with what our residents and our businesses need for those properties. We did add a artisan brewery special land use for some areas. We also updated the live entertainment regulations to make them a little bit more usable for us and the Planning Commission. As you may recall, some of you have been on there, it gets a little bit challenging when you're trying to figure hours of operation, those types of things. There are some sign chapter details and just a few other cleanup items. In the memo here, I did note, we did say increased regulations for building materials for accessory buildings. We took that out of this version that you have because there were some questions about the type and arrangement of those building materials in general. So that is not reflected in this. And that's about it. If there's any other questions, please let me know. There's a red line version in there for you if you want to cross-reference, and that's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Pete. So, once again, I would open the floor to any public comment on this issue, if there's any. Seeing none, I'll close the floor and we'll move on to board discussion. Bill, do you have anything?
I'm just wondering whether we are going to, is that going to give us any great load of traffic in that area? Because I remember when we first developed that Metro Health there was some question about that at that crossroad. Is there going to be traffic studies on that?
No, we did a traffic study.
Before your time, Tom.
We did at least one back in the day, and these uses here were considered to be the best option we had for that property. So certainly there'll be an increase because they'll have a draw, but they're also they have traffic coming in at non-prime times of the day generally. So I don't anticipate that it'll be significant based on the uses.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy.
No comment on the updating language. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathleen?
All set.
Thank you. Susan?
When you do updates frequently, how are you assuring the community that they're looking at the most recent?
Well, with recent changes we've had with our internet service and our system there, and then with Elizabeth on staff, she's responsible for regularly updating that. So she just builds that right into her daily process if we have new changes coming through. So I think we're a lot more effective with that than we've been in the years past, in part just because it's so easy to update these PDF files and to put it online, whereas in the past it was a little bit more challenging.
And I agree with that, and that's part of why it's not annoying or in any way making things difficult when you come in with a page with 5 or 6 changes, and all of them very important. They have reasons for being done. But my concern is that if someone wants to look up, for example, regulations for stables, they would just they would just push the search button and ours will come up. And when it comes up, does it say adopted then, changed then, changed then? Is there a history that goes with these?
Some ordinances will have it right after the change.
Yes.
In this, the changes go into the front of the book, so it's like updated on this such and such date. So the actual date of the amendment, no, that won't necessarily be there where you are, if you typed in stable and it dropped you right there on a find. But it will be as part of the overall document.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Jack, you have anything?
Yeah, I just appreciate the different philosophy that you have now with making it streamlining and a good working document as opposed to trying to work around things. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Agreed. Okay, I'd seek a motion at this time.
Approve the ordinance to amend the zoning ordinance based on the recommendation of the Planning Commission and staff.
Thank you, Kathy. Support?
Second.
Thank you, Kathleen. Roll call vote.
Hey, Mrs. Morrow,
Yes.
Mr. Brinkman,
Yes.
Mr. Hagedorn.
Yes.
Ms. Beatty,
Yes.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Postma, yes.
Okay, superintendent comments. Cameron, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. A few things for you tonight. I know I talked about this last meeting, but I put some of these connect cards at your places here tonight. So we've been using these for a while, for a few years now. We just updated these, so these are brand new in the last month or so. I gave you a few, so when you're talking with residents and if you have a good way to keep these handy, this is a great way to say, hey, you need to talk to so-and-so. I know residents will come to you and think, you know, Tom, you can help me with, do I need a fence permit, right? Okay, go talk to, these are the folks you need. So you guys can be the traffic directors, right? So you can help, hey, this is the person you need to speak to about this. You know, I know you want to work through me because you know me, but if you find yourselves in the middle of every conversation with a neighbor or another resident trying to help someone with a question on a fence or a question on this permit or that permit, the odds are that you're probably gonna either slow down the process or someone's gonna drop the ball along the way, and I trust it'll never be you guys, it'll be someone else, right? A communication will be missed, and all of a sudden the resident's upset because they didn't get the answer they're looking for. So we're always working to make that direct connection. So these are one way to help residents know, and they've got contact emails, phone numbers on the back, so they know, okay, I've got a question on elections, here's the clerk's number. I've got a question on community development things, planning, zoning, ordinance enforcement. So just to help them out. It also gives you some white space too. If you need to jot a note, put your name on there, jot your number if you want them to call you back, there's some space on there too. So we have more if you need more. Just let me know. There's a pile of, by the agendas in the back of the room here too. So feel free to use those. A couple other things to update you. Road construction, you've probably noticed that everywhere, pretty much everywhere. It's not just us. The MDOT's working on things on 131 and 96, which is enhancing the amount of flow we have going through Plainfield in various locations too. But we also have Belmont Avenue ripped up to the north, so it's hard to get around. But this is all signs of progress, right? So some of it is our doing with water main construction, and now like Belmont, they had to hold off repaving that until we got our water main put in, which we did last year, and so now they can move forward with that. So I just ask for everyone's patience as we work through that, but projects are moving forward. We've got water main projects going forward. We've got the water main is actually here now, so we can put these projects together. Progress is kind of messy sometimes that way through infrastructure projects. Another new item that we received, if you came into the meeting from the north, you probably noticed our new speed board is here. So you had a chance to see just how fast you're approaching Township Hall. Hopefully you're under 35 miles an hour, because it's really hard to make that turn if you're not. So our community policing officers were setting it up and trying it out, so they'll be moving it around. They already have a list of requested areas around the township. So if you know of an area that really could make use of it, let us know. Community policing officers will add it to the list and keep it revolving around the township. They certainly have a long enough list that it's going to be set for months before it's really going to start to cycle around again. So, but we'll start to see that pop up various places around the township. Last item, our next meeting, we're going to do a workshop format to go over strategic planning. We started that last fall, and my apologies that it took this long to get us back to it, but we'll get back and talk about the concepts that we threw out there last fall. I should have a draft plan for you to kind of react to, and we can refine that before we move on to making it finally our plan. So we'll meet in here. Normal time, we'll just meet in a workshop format and go over strategic planning items. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Cameron. So, board comments? Susan?
Will a workshop, I apologize. Will a workshop format permit the public to view the meeting, or?
Good question. We cannot live stream in a workshop format. The way the microphones and cameras are set up, we just don't have that capability.
Last Thursday morning, I went to Coffee with a Cup down at Versluis Park. There were 4 community cups down there that day, and although they did a very nice job talking to our residents and answering questions and things, I was absolutely taken back by Versluis Park. Not one piece of trash or paper or cigarette butt or anything, no matter where I looked. I walked all the way around the path, through the kids' play area. It is immaculate. Everything is clean. I knew I wouldn't see anything broken. We haven't been open that long. But the impression that you get when you come to Versluis Park now is outstanding. And the new sign that changes the messages, that was very clever to write. This park closes at 8 o'clock sharp, because they have new gates that close. And I said to the cop, so what happens if you're on the inside? Lo and behold, you can approach the gate and get out, but you can't get in after 8 o'clock. They have just done an outstanding job down there. Everybody, I don't even know where to start with all the people that were contributed to all the different things that made that park. It is very, very exciting. And do you actually know the distance around the park on the walk? Once upon a time, I heard it was a mile. Is that possible?
Yeah, that does sound correct. But I'm just going by memory, and who
Me
knows
too.
with that. But that sounds right. We just repaved that last fall, if you
Yeah.
recall, for like a
Beautiful.
great price, yeah.
Anyway, that's all.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Jack?
I
Oh.
apologize. Kathy Beatty and I met a candidate for Kent County Commissioner. It would be District 11, I believe. And we took the Connect cards to her. And I encourage all of you to take some time before August. And Plainfield Township is going to have three Kent County Commissioners. And one of them will not live in Plainfield Township. And maybe 2 of them won't live in Plainfield Township. And that's why Kathy and I went to meet this one candidate, because she is already a Kent County Commissioner, but she knew so little about Plainfield. And it was time well spent, very well spent. So I encourage you to make contact with the candidates on the whole sheet. There's a bunch of them, and it's going to be quite different to have people represent us who don't know what public water systems are, what 2 full-time fire stations are, what it takes to operate 2 full-time fire stations, what it takes to have a staff that we have, and the depth of the staff and the knowledge of the staff. 2 new commissioners. That'll be really interesting. Anyway, I encourage you to take some time and go visit.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Jack, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
Okay. Kathleen? Kathy?
Let's just appreciate our brave heroes on Memorial Day weekend.
Okay, thank you. Bill?
Well, as you know, we got the Memorial Day coming up on the 26th, and we've already got the agenda out, finally. This has been a difficult time to get people this year, but we finally did it. And now, let's all pray for no rain on Thursday. I would much rather do it outside than, but our Chief McKellar has so graciously lent us Station 1 there to bring them into it if it gets there. And the Sheriff's Department's all set to help us with getting them across the street from the home over there, their parking lot, and to get them into our area. So it's generally going good, and we look forward to having you all out there too, if you can get out there. Several of the board members are on the team and will be speaking or performing. One of the things I wanted to bring up to Bill and Peter is, in your PUD plans, can you get a plan like on Cuts Hill there, that you relocate those animals from up there? Man, we got a ton of deer that come and eat us out of house and home. So far, it's cost me $850 just to take care of what they did to the trees beside our house. It was separated. We had to cut them all down because they ate them all the way up, and they don't regrow when that happens. So that should be a part of the PUD, animal relocation, you know. Of course, I'm joking on that, but it's a truism. It's happening. And we look forward to seeing you out there. This will be a very patriotic meeting, and we've had a great success in the past, and the people went away with a real warm feeling. And I know that Kathy Possumus is going to be there, and she's going to lead us, and Sue's going to be there, and I will be there too also. So it's going to be quite a night, and our day. Well, it's in night. It's at that time, and if the Lord gives us good weather, we'll have it. Hardest thing was trying to find a sound system, but I finally found it. You know, I was getting worried there. I was going to use my little old one, but it'll do it, but it not as good as the one we got. So, but that's about it from our area.
Okay, thank you. Just a quick note, I was also on that trip with the Right Place folk, with Cameron and Jen. It was very worthwhile. Bill was there, Pete was there, he was the sign holder. Great job on that, Pete, by the way. He pretended to be Vanna.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
I found my calling.
Yeah, exactly. But it was great. It was a great experience. I think they were very intrigued and very interested in what we have going on. So I hope that helps us get the ball rolling. So that's all I have. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.